Have you ever thought taking a stranger's car online? You have never met with a stranger. You are taking the stranger's car and spending, or rather throwing millions to it without knowing the benefit or the outcome of the car. On this second episode of The Charged, we are going to go deep dive into Joan's Jalopy. Yeah, so today's guest is Joan, also known as Joan Reels, also known as For Real. She has got her own brand called For Real KE, and the owner of the Jalopy. So how did this all come about? You see, I was one day scrolling on Twitter, and I found these crazy, interesting stories on Twitter that Joanne used to make about her endeavors in the Jalopy. And in fact, what triggered me most was the time when she used to pick cabbages from one point to the other, and used to have those late night drives, and going from one town to the other late in middle in the night, and she would pick cabbages or vegetables for different people, or rather from different farms. At times it used to be from your farm as well. So that's what triggered me, and I'm like, wow, this car has taken a thorough beating, right? And then I reached out to Joanne, and I'm like, Joanne, how about we build this car? And I'd never thought that this car was in a very dilapidated state, right? For the right word to use. And you see, I was not following Joanne like previously, where you used to show how your car was and all that. So I started following you, and you used to have the drives from point town A to town B, picking vegetables and all that. And I never knew the extent of the build, like the amount, because I'm like, okay, the car is running fine, yeah. And so yeah, that's how it all started. And guys, it has been a crazy and a very, very interesting journey. Yeah. So John, tell us more about the endeavors rather you used to have with your particular Jalopy.
Right. Thank you so much, Imran. I think before I get into the Jalopy, I would want to highlight on where the fun, or rather the love for off-road began. It's been a journey. There's the Jalopy you're seeing, but then there's always the journey behind the Jalopy. So that was back in post-corona. I really loved doing off-roading. So back then we were always in collaboration with a good friend of mine, Wairimo Guitar.
Yeah, better.
So yes, better.
Okay.
So better and I came to a decision whereby we wanted to go for 4x4. I had the money, but still, because you were very good friends and you were working in collaboration, we agreed that we are going to go for a Land Cruiser. But now, before getting to the Land Cruiser, the first car we actually wanted to go for was a Toyota Hilux Surf.
Okay.
We agreed we were going to go for a Toyota Hilux Surf. But then on the material day to buy the Toyota Hilux Surf, we had a swap and went for a Volkswagen Polo.
Wow.
Better always had this notion of like, let's go for a ladylike vehicle. Let's go for something that speaks femininity, all that. Because prior we had a Mazda Demio. Then one day when you are in Isili, in Isili there are these, we call them, these very huge buses.
The Manyangas.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
that's the name. So the Manyangas, they were honking on us because they were right behind us. And then after the bus passed, the conductor had the audacity to step on the door. He's like, ondoa hii siafu yako kwa barabara.
Wow.
I was like, ai.
Sini
they're
yangu
calling my car
nimenunua na
siafu
pesa
really.
yangu.
And you can imagine it had earned money.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. So when we got the Polo, and I'm telling you, that car, the Polos, the Golds, the thrill of driving them.
Yeah.
So it's like,
The
with
torque,
this car,
they're very
the
torquey.
torque. I mean, this car, it can easily outshine even it's a 4x4 on the road. I was like, now with this one, no one can tell me ondoa siafu yako kwa barabara. So we went to the Polo. And I remember after we bought the Polo, we did a post on social media, like, finally we've elevated and all that. Then there's this Kionganga. I think I've only met him once or twice. So Kionganga told me, this car will teach you character development. And then who's me and better? We're like, these are haters. These are the people who don't want to see us progress. Only for us later on to come and understand that, honestly, Kionganga knew what we didn't know at that time. Because that car was problematic, Imran. One time we were going with Better to Mbere. Now, Mbere, it was during the rainy season. Back in 2021, there was a time when it was really rainy. So when Beta was the one who was driving, I was just a passenger. So as you're driving, Beta was started telling me that this car is braking itself. Like, Beta, you don't know modern cars. We've got the sensors. This car is really sensing. Maybe there's a lot of slipperiness on the road.
I've never pictured you driving a
what?
Golf or a Polo. Honestly, that picture coming to my mind is just unrealistic.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm telling him, run. Then it's the reality. So now Beta would tell me, this guy is almost stopping. I was like, Beta, relax. It's just that this guy is not agreeing with your mode of driving. It's very sensitive. So we went to Mbere, and then on our way back, I told Beta, now I'm the one who's going to drive this vehicle.
Let me show you how it's driven.
Exactly. Let the experts do it. Anyway, when you're coming back with Beta, you remember during COVID, there was a rule after 10 p.m. So 10 p.m. caught with us when we were still on the road. And we got to a place called Embu. Embu, there's a place where there is a sewage treatment plant, and there was a barrier by the police. So I told Beta, what you're going to do is kindly pretend to be sick. You know, if you're sick and we go to the police block and they say I have a sick person,
They'll let you go
they'll
through.
just let us go because this is an emergency. But then we didn't anticipate that what they would uncover rather our lies. Because when he got there, the police was like, I was like, my friend behind there is really sick. I need to take her to hospital. So the police was like, are you taking her to hospital out of Embu, or should you take her to hospital in Embu? Because now it's near the boundary between Kirinyaga and Embu. Well, I was like, okay, now this one we are caught.
Tumeshikwa.
So I was like, I'm turning this story all around. I told the police, you know what happened? My friend over there is the one who cooked the entire story. I am not involved at all. So better seeing that we've really been unmasked. She got out. She did what she does best, because personally, I don't take bribes. I don't get underhand shortcuts. Then Beta knows very well. I know I'm not supposed to say this in the absence of Beta, but she knows what she did. She did the negotiations and everything. And yes, we went back. At least we were allowed to pass and got to Kutus. But now on getting to Kutus, the first phone call we made was to get a tow truck. Kindly come, take this vehicle. Nairobi is where experts are. The car was taken to Nairobi.
Wow.
A week later, the vehicle came back with a bill of 160,000.
Wow.
At least the limp mode was gone.
160,000 on top of the tow
160,000.
truck fees.
Yes.
Wow. How much did you spend on the tow truck at the
Tow
time?
truck. I can't remember the exact amount, but I think it was something between 20 to 30,000.
Okay.
Because of the distance factor. So the car comes back. I'm all glad it doesn't have any issues. I was like,
How much did you buy the car for?
can I literally? It was more of a trade-in. Because I had the Mazda Demio, remember? So I did a trade-in. I really can't.
How much did you roughly add?
Honestly, I think I'll be lying if I say I remember
Okay.
Imran. But it was something substantial either way, because you're now shifting to a performance vehicle as compared to the Demio. So now after it came, I was like, no, this car is good. It's really performing well on the road. I headed out to Nanyuki. I've got some personal projects in Nanyuki that I keep checking into. Nanyuki usually has this black cotton soil. So because it was during the rainy season, I came back with the car really muddy. I went to my normal car wash. The car wash guy was like, you're back. Bring the car, let's wash it for you. I told the car wash guy, kindly just wash the exterior part.
Don't go inside
Exactly.
and Sushika engine.
Exactly. So I left the vehicle and I was like, he's my guy. There's nothing he can do wrong. He can go wrong with this.
So you left him with the car and
I
left.
left him with the car and left. But upon coming back, immediately I looked at the vehicle, Imran. I knew my goose was cooked. There is no other way to say about it. I looked at the engine bay. It's sparkling clean. Looks brand new. When I looked at how clean the car is, I was like, okay.
Will it crank?
Exactly.
Oh, that was your question.
That
Will
was
it
my
crank?
question. Because now the car didn't even get home. Another tow truck, Nairobi, another bill of 100,000+.
Wow.
And the issue did not stop there, Imran. It kept free. Limp mode after limp mode, limp mode after limp mode. I got so frustrated that I saw that car in a garage. And those who've been following us back then, they knew that the key was broken. Actually, we used to use the pliers, the key that folds in, but you need the transponder. So the transponder is nearby. Then you take the key that had been disconnected, use pliers, then you slot it in, then you start the vehicle, and you're good to go.
So that's where you learned how to use spoons and keys when starting cars.
Imran, I mean, it's all about creativity. So what happened is that small key that was broken, I actually put it on top of the roof, and I was like, here's the car. The key is on the roof panel. And I was like, no, that's it. Now, prior to selling the Polo, I had gotten into car brokering business and car dealing business.
Okay.
I had managed to buy the Land Cruiser.
You had already had the
Yes,
had the Land
I
Cruiser.
had the
Okay.
Land Cruiser.
And how much did you buy the Land Cruiser? Maybe
I
you can
bought it
tell
around
that.
500,000.
500,000.
500,000.
Okay.
But now there's one difference between the Polo.
Had you done pre-purchase inspection on the
and
Land
now that's
Cruiser?
where I was going to. For the Polo, I didn't do a pre-purchase inspection. I didn't even know what pre-purchase inspection was all about.
Okay.
And that cost me big time. But now with the Land Cruiser, I knew, number one, this car it's an old vehicle. So, there's what you expect from old vehicles. And I knew, number
Plus
one,
the price you're buying it
you're
for. I
buying
mean,
for,
you're
you
buying
go
it at a
with
throwaway price.
I had
yeah.
also noticed that the car had issues with the gearbox. It needed a specific technique. If it's you're engaging gear number 2, you couldn't just go all the way to gear number 3. No, there's a specific way you set the shifts, the selector, and then you engage it. So now I knew it had issues with the gearbox, but for the price, I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
But now, after I bought the Land Cruiser, I realized that over time the gear issues continued accelerating. So I eventually decided I'm going to do a gearbox overhaul. I think that cost me around 50,000.
And where did you do the gearbox overhaul?
I did it actually I think
Ruben.
exactly.
Ruben did the gearbox.
Ruben did the gearbox.
So did you know that Ruben has dealt with such cars before, or you just out of the blue, like, because he's a guy from Kutus, so you just reached out to him, and you have that, sort of, is my neighbor or is my tribe's guy or whatever. So it's like, this guy is just a town's mechanic and he can fix the car. Or did you have like prior information that Ruben has done like quite a number of jobs with Land Cruisers, or he's got a certain level of expertise with Land Cruisers?
All right. When it comes to Ruben, he's really been in the industry for long.
Okay.
So I knew that he comes from a point of knowing what he's doing.
All right.
So when I was giving the car to him, I knew that
So how did you know? Did you have a first-hand experience, or did someone tell you, or
About
was it a
Ruben.
referral? Or
No. Actually, Ruben, if you remember, the Land Cruiser was not my first vehicle. And Ruben has a specific place he's been working for so long.
from Kutus?
So yes, it's
Okay.
someone I knew prior. It's not like I'm
Okay,
just,
you had a personal relationship,
Exactly.
like kind of,
more or
neighborly
less.
neighborly
Yes,
relationship. yeah.
Exactly. So I knew what he does.
Okay.
So he did the rebuild, but then we all know rebuilds are not. You cannot compare a rebuild to a replacement. So I did the rebuild with the gearbox rebuild with Ruben. Still didn't work out. So I was like,
And how much money did you spend?
50,000.
Okay.
Now, when it came to that, then I went and we were talking with Beta, and I was like, Beta, this car, we are taking it to experts. We are not gambling
Toyota
anymore.
Kenya as well.
Toyota Kenya, Imran. You got it right. We drove all the way to Nyeri.
Wow.
We went to Toyota Kenya. The reception is good. And they were like, here's the car, but you have to leave this car so that we can have ample time doing diagnosis. You well know that diagnosis takes time.
Yeah.
I was like, no worries. Actually, that day I had sent a friend of mine to go and deliver the car. So after that, they told us that they'll share the quote with us via WhatsApp. So the next day, Beta calls me and John, Toyota Kenya have sent us a quote. Just check out our email. They sent it via email rather. So I went via email. I was in a rush. The whole thing, you're all hectic up and about. So I come and realize that I saw 71,000. I was like, Beta, kindly just call them and tell them to just proceed.
Yeah.
Okay, Beta.
And where did you remove all that money from?
What? No. I've seen 71,000. Only for Beta to call me.
So you
later.
had 71,000 in your
That
savings?
is what I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was still in business as well. So
A brokering business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now later on,
And that
Beta,
time, car brokering business used to pay good money.
I mean, Imran, it's a hustle. Yes. So after a few minutes, Beta calls me and asks me, Joan, unatoanga pesa wapi? Like, mbona?
Unafanya wash
waendelee na kazi. Unawaambia waendelee na kazi na bill ni 791,000.
What?
I'm like,
What?
I'm like, okay.
Those are two
Relax. I went now back to my email, not rushed. And I'm looking at the bill, 791,000.
And were they
I've
replacing
never been
anything?
that frantic.
Were they replacing? Were they
Yes.
replacing the engine and the gearbox and the drivetrain and all
I
that?
can't even remember what the things were there,
Okay.
but they were easily broken down. And I'm telling you, I was frantic.
Wow.
Have you ever been making phone calls when you're typing emails? Because you're like, Toyota Kenya, don't start my car. Even the grammar to express yourself, that time it just, it's just escaped.
It
But then
evaporated.
at least I managed to get them in time before they started working on the vehicle. But still, I had to pay for consultancy. So I just sent my friend.
How
I
much
was
did
like,
you pay for consultants?
6,000.
6,000.
Yeah, that's the much they charge. So I just sent the vehicle came, and then I was like, let me now look for experts elsewhere. I came across a garage in Nairobi. I'm not going to mention the name of the garage, So I told him that these are the issues I'm having with my vehicle, and before you touch my vehicle,
Give me
I
a
need
quote.
a quote.
And how did you come across that garage? Through online?
Of
Through, was
course,
it?
Imran. If you need any information, you only find it online. So
Okay.
it's more or less you find someone online. Then after that, now that's when you get into talks here, and then it comes to an agreement.
Yeah.
So I had a very hectic schedule. So I sent my best friend to take the car there. The car was taken, and then the bill came. The bill was at around 110.
So you're
now
like, this is
comparing
worth it.
110
To
and
791.
791, I was like,
It made
why
a lot
not?
of sense.
It
Yeah.
made a lot of sense. So yeah, the car was fixed. After the car was fixed, now the mechanic called me and told me the car is ready. I was still not available to go collect the vehicle. So I still sent my friend again to go collect the vehicle. So my friend goes to collect the vehicle, and after he picks it up, he's like, this car feels underpowered. Like, how can it be underpowered? It has just left the garage. So I was so all over the place because I had already paid a bill of 120,000. That was inclusive of other, what do they call them? Miscellaneous here and there. And I was like, you just bring the car home. There's no other way, but just bring the car home. Now the car is coming home, and now it's even worse. Because now it's not the gearbox that was actually gone to be repaired or that to be redone. It cannot engage gear number 4 or gear number 5.
Wow. So you're working with 3 gears.
Number 1, 2, 3.
And you said number 2 had a problem?
No, that one.
That one was resolved.
It just had a technique of shifting.
Okay.
But no, here it's even worse because now the higher gears are not engaging.
Yeah.
It's like, no, before we just surrender, let us do one main drive. I had always wanted to go to Lake Ellis. So but I was like, better we are going to Lake Ellis. Now we are only dealing with 3 gears, 1, 2, 3. We drove off. We got to Nithi Bridge. Now, Nithi Bridge, I knew the issues with this vehicle. So I engaged gear number 1 so that I can get the momentum, the torque, and everything to handle the Nithi right after the Nithi Bridge, that uphill. When I was like 3/4 way done, I said to myself, why don't I try engaging gear number 2? And that's when all hell broke loose. Because the car got stuck in neutral.
Wow.
It can't engage gear number 2. And now when I'm trying to now downshift
Shift it back to number 1,
it's
it
not.
can't go
and
back.
now it's not. In neutral, definitely. Imran, you've worked on that vehicle. You are absolutely sure that car had only 3 brake pads. One of the rear tires did not have a braking system.
Yeah.
So you can imagine with just 3 of them, and it's on an incline, and the vehicle is rolling down.
Wow.
So by good luck, I was able to solve it, and now it rested on the shoulder of the road.
Okay.
We now got me and the better got.
Was it like muddy? How was the terrain? Was it?
No, it's tarmac. Nithi Bridge is tarmac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now after that, we put the, now the rocks to prevent it from rolling backwards and try giving it a heel start. Now, finally, it cranked up. The heel start was good. But then from there, we only dealt with gear number 1 in front. From there all the way to Lake Ellis.
You made it all the way
We
to
made
Lake Ellis?
it. And let me tell you, Imran, that's when Lake Ellis was Lake Ellis.
See,
Not like right now that even your should I call it your boggers 4x4 can make it.
yeah,
Back then,
she calls my
only
Discovery a mall
4x4.
crawler.
It's
You're calling it a mall crawler.
Imran, that's the truth anyway. So
But her Jalopy is a fail to reach. So
which one?
the Suzuki.
Okay, Imran, leave the Suzuki. Let's first tell. No, on that day, we got to Lake Ellis. Gear number 1. But no, we experienced something. The hub blocks. We had done some modifications. Previously, this car came with power hub blocks, but now we changed them into mechanical. The mechanical snapped.
And who did the modification?
It was still done from the same place where
the
fix-up
100
was
you
being-
spent
exactly, where
120,000.
the fix-up was being done. It came apart.
Okay.
And now you can imagine you're dealing in a very muddy terrain with 2-wheel drive. Imran is just by God's grace. So now we came back, and now after that, now when I came back, I went back to Ruben. And Ruben was really angry. You know what Ruben told me? Joan, you deserted me to take this car to a mechanic who speaks English because I can't speak English. So I had to go really humble, apologizing to Ruben, and I'm like,
you went to
still the OG.
you went to that Kirinyaga accent now. You went back to that Kirinyaga accent of yours.
You have to go back to, the way you're really humble, especially when, you've been done, as in something has been done on you and you really don't want to revisit it. So we went to Ruben, but we agreed with Ruben. We are going to now do a gearbox replacement. We're not going to do overhauls anymore. It's just
a replacement. So plug and play, basically.
Exactly. We sourced a gearbox, I think around 110,000 or 20,000. And then now we sorted the gearbox issues. And I didn't end there. Continuous leaks. This is an old vehicle, Imran. Leaks after leaks, leaks after leaks. Turbo issues after turbo issues, which we were just fixing.
But now all the 5 gears were working fine.
Yes,
yeah.
the gear shifts were good. Now from there, after the car was good, now it had to do all manner sorts of work. It was a hearse in case there was someone who needed to be buried from the village. I mean, volunteering. We can just carry the body for you to take it to its final resting place. That would happen on Fridays. Then on Saturdays, the car was well decorated to handle weddings. So basically,
The Jalopy has done weddings.
yeah, it has.
Wow.
Why don't you believe?
I mean,
You disbelieve?
who would take who would take in
Then
the
let
car
me
in
tell
that
you why,
state for a
Imran. Let
wedding?
me tell you why. Because that's a real 4x4. And from where I come from, the terrain is really bad. Back then, it was really bad. I know right now it has really improved by the fact that the MCA has played a hand in improving the road network. But back then, it was bad. So it was really the only solution. Us, events, weddings, carrying
Stones.
timber. Yes, no, stones.
I've
it
seen
was,
a picture carrying stones and
yes,
and
plowing. You need
Yeah.
your land plowed.
Yeah.
Better is the driver. Joan is holding the plow, and the
and
work gets done.
how much money did you used to make out of
How
all that?
much do you think I used to make him run?
I think very little.
Really?
Yes. And okay, unless because as far as I know, you are very hardworking. So unless you are used to work like crazy, put in crazy amount of hours. But I feel like you like for plowing a land, you might be earning like for a day you might be earning like not considerable amount of money. Yeah, I would say not even like 10,000. If I'm not wrong.
Okay. I think
I might be wrong because I've never done farming. Yeah.
Don't worry. That one I'll let you know about the nitty gritties when it comes to plowing of land. Don't worry. I'll give. I'll
So
share with you.
how much money did
I'll
you used
share
to
it
make?
with you. I'll share it with
Why
you.
why don't you want to share it with the public?
Because sometimes what happens when in the village, Imran, sometimes it's not about how much you charge.
Okay.
Sometimes it's about how helpful are you. Someone is reaching out to you because they need.
Yeah.
So it's not always about the value of money. It's about what have you given.
What
in return.
impact to you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
it. Now after that, that's when now it started developing serious issues.
Hmm.
I know you can concur with this, Imran. By the time you are coming and deciding like, John, let's build this for you, you on your side, it was nothing about marketing. I'm actually the one who imposed it on you.
True. So like you see, I was just like, Joan, come, we build this car, right? And it was all because of my passion, my passion towards cars, and and 4x4s. Again, I'm also very passionate about 4x4s. I'm just not passionate about Toyota 4x4s, but I am passionate about 4x4s.
Imran, you biased.
So anyway, so then I reached out to Joan and I'm like, I really want to build this car because it has seen everything.
It
Like
has seen better
it's
days.
seen everything that a 4x4. Most people have 4x4s and it doesn't even serve the purpose. They'll spend crazy amount of money, put in rooftop tents, put in all those things, and they barely go on a 4x4 drive. Like they barely utilize what their car can do. So it's more of the aesthetics, like even the 4x4 gear, and it's just to show people that my car has 4x4 gear. So the whole idea of why investing into the Jalopy was because this car, without a 4x4 gear, without any 4x4 build to it, or and in a dilapidated state, it has done so much.
Yeah, true. And if you remember, Imran, prior to you coming and rescuing it, it had serious issues with the diff. I
Yes.
think you can attest to that.
Yes. So
it was
they
in
didn't
a
even
pretty
have oil.
sorry condition.
The diffs didn't have oil, right? If I can remember well, the diffs didn't have oil. Number two, you were using a spoon to start the car. At times you used to use a screwdriver, or at times you would use a tablespoon to start the car. The interior was whack.
I know.
Like literally, even the door cuts, everything, the door handles. I think one of the door handles, how did you used to open the door? One didn't even have a door handle at all.
Imran, it's all about innovation.
Yeah. So like Joan says, innovation. So we really like, when I first saw the car physically, I'm like, what? Where have I put myself into? Like I've literally dug a graveyard for myself. So I'm like, oh my God, I was like thinking I was to spend like around 500,000 on the car, and the car will be, perfectly okay, and Joan will be happy, and we'll finish the build in a few months, And at the time, money was like, also like because we were expanding, Precision was expanding, so I was investing a lot of money like everywhere, establishing branches and like equipment, getting more equipment for the garage and all that, and I'm like, oh my God. This is the state of the car, and I have promised people online that we are going to give Joan what she wants.
Was it that bad, really, Imran?
It was really bad. Come on, the door cuts, all the door cuts were not there. Like they were broken and into pieces. The seats was a problem.
How about the engine? You're not even mentioning about the
I'm
engine.
getting to the engine because
You're
that's the main part,
Okay.
right? The rust.
Oh yeah.
The rust was also extensive. The car had a really extensive rust, right? Number 4, like you said, the diffs, they were all
yeah,
leaking,
the
and the
diffs
diffs didn't even have oil. I wonder if, to be honest, if it was a European car with that level of the diffs not having oil, it would have been a catastrophe,
Oh, right.
right? So that's why people who own Toyotas again tend to abuse those cars
They
beyond.
can handle it.
Yeah, beyond, because they're like, the car is moving and it's fine. So literally nothing. Number 5, the drivetrain. Let's come to the drivetrain. The engine. Yeah, when you remember, we did the compression test of the engine and we found out that the engine is not even the power, the torque, nothing is there, and even the gearbox. The gearbox, much as you had replaced the gearbox, the transfer, everything.
True.
So what we decided, and I'm like, since I have promised the public and our fans online that we are going to build this car to your satisfaction, we are going to build this car to be the best of the best, right?
Absolutely.
So we decided, let's go all in. So we, remember, we replaced the engine, the gearbox, the transfer, the diffs, and then Joan, being Joan, she's very
Joan being
thick-headed. By the way, if you guys have met someone as thick-headed, you know by the talks that she's not allowed. At times, people say that huyu msichana wa kwenda Kiambu Road. So even in her brand is for real KE, yeah, because your level of stubbornness is just like, I would say, 100%.
Is it really stubbornness, Imran, or just being firm in what you believe in?
There is that, and that's
Exactly.
I mean, most stubborn people are because they are firm in what they believe in, right? So you like, even the reason why you when you see a car and you will dismiss it is because of, this car is not good, and nothing can change that fact, right? So the same way here, like, Joan is like, no, Imran, you have promised that you are going to build the car, and I was opting for a different engine. You remember, I was opting for a different engine,
Yes.
a readily available engine, which would have made the car finish in a very short time. But Joan was very categorical. You wanted
I had a specific engine,
Yeah,
a
you-
1KZ.
a 1KZ, and which, even 1KZ has got specifics.
Yep.
So which 1KZ?
The one that comes with mechanical injection system.
Yes. So there is 1KZ TE and there is 1KZ T.
T, yes.
And Joan specifically wanted a 1KZ T,
T.
which is mechanical injection.
Yep.
Because, she's like, if my car breaks down anywhere, I can fix it
Well, that's pretty much it, Imran.
myself, because I'm an
Exactly.
off-roader. So putting all, at times, that's why at Precision, like, we have to do what our client wants at the end of the day. So we put in all that into the consideration. And by the way, it's very important. You saw the drivetrain and the mechanicals and the suspension and all that. And you remember the time when we took the car to Kirinyaga to Castle Forest?
Yes, I think that's the time when we really proved that the powertrain was solid.
Yeah.
And it was really utmost important because we need first to ensure that the mechanical aspect is solid before now we get into the aesthetics.
And you gave a proper beating to the Discovery.
Imran, yours is a mall crawler. What are you even talking?
So yeah, Joan gave a proper beating to the Discovery,
The mall
because
crawler, okay.
not the Mall-Crawler, the Discovery 4. Yeah.
Yeah, Imran.
So she gave a proper beating, and because the drivetrain again was like perfectly okay.
Pretty
And when
solid.
when the car was on the flatbed, people are like, "Are these guys crazy? Yeah, they're taking the car on a flatbed all the way to Castle Forest Lodge again, and and even it didn't have a starter at that time. You remember how we started the car?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so just to prove people that the drivetrain is okay, to test it before we can now take a deep dive into the aesthetics. So Joan had been disturbing me. Imran, I want a sunroof. Imran, I want a sunroof. Imran, I want a sunroof.
Imran,
Right?
I know your whole idea was maintaining that car as stock as possible.
Exactly. I didn't even want to.
But-
You remember, I was not of the idea for the facelift.
I know you're not.
But Joan was like, no, I want
But
a facelift.
Imran, on my side, I felt that was a challenge that was necessary to prove that you can do it. I was like, this is a challenge that I'm throwing to Imran. And because I do believe that him and his team are capable of doing this, let's see what they can do. And what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, so it turned out really well, the facelift, and you can see now the car looks like totally changed. It doesn't look like,
Absolutely.
it's got the latest face to it. And then we have did the lights and everything. And you remember we had already imported the old face.
Yeah.
We already had brand lights from the old
the old
face.
face, yeah.
We had front lights, tail lights. We had quite a bit that we had gotten. from the old
The old make.
right? But now which we didn't use, so it's just lying in my store. But all this is because of like what Joan really wanted and what she was going out there for. So I'm really happy at how the whole project has turned out, and it just looks awesome. It just, and the interior, the leather finish, when you sit in that chair now, the comfort
Really
levels of the car,
comfortable,
yeah,
yes, yes.
have really gone high. The drivetrain, the battery. You didn't even have a battery bracket. Your car, how were you?
Oh yeah, I didn't have a bat. Okay, I agree on that. Imran, it's an old vehicle.
So we had to fabricate
A bracket.
a battery bracket, put a
Yes.
new battery, yeah, and make it like a fully functional car. So what are your plans now? What do you want to do to the car?
Now, before we go to our plans, can you tell us how has the build been for you? Because it has been you who's been running everything.
Yes.
You have been footing everything.
Yes.
People really, anyone who's interested in having a build done, what would you advise them?
A build is not for the weak. That's what I would say. At times you would spend way less amount of money buying a new car than building your car. Right?
Yep.
So, I mean, because if, I do my costings of how much money we have put into the build, I would say we are like over 2.5, 3 million shillings, right?
Okay.
Because it's crazy amount of money. And time. Another thing is the time. Because time is also money.
It's of essence, yes.
Yeah, time is of essence. So imagine now, you're doing a project car, and you know that you want to use that car, like as a client, you want to use that car for X amount, and then you are like that time has been spent in the garage, right?
Okay.
And I'm a very honest person, so to be honest, like the build has taken long, so of course there's that amount of time that the car spent in the garage that you would might have used the car. Number two, even as a garage, right? Like you see, you're getting a car that's quick in, quick out. So that is like 15K come in, 15K gone. Now you're focusing on the build. So you see that money, the labor, a build is always a very labor intensive project, right?
Understood.
It's not like you're maintaining a car and you're replacing suspensions and you're doing that. It's a very, very labor intensive process. So it has been very challenging from sourcing the parts, getting those parts in the first place. It has been very difficult, because of your specifications. Number two, the money involved, a lot of money involved, and without even knowing that this money, how will we recover the money, or so when you are doing, it's more of the passion. When you are doing a build, it's more of like, I'm passionate and I want to see this car from X, the way it's X to, it
Until
being
it's completely done.
until it's completely done. So you see, that's the whole essence of building your own car. Or number three, if you have sentimental value, towards the car. Now, for instance, with the Jalopy, you have put it through a lot, right?
Absolutely.
So you would want to see what are the changes, that this car, like, I want to see something different, something that I have never seen in the car. And that's what me and my team at Precision Automotive, we really wanted to, achieve, right? Okay, Joan has said this, and it was not even about the marketing. The marketing, by the way, you came up with, you said, Imran, look, I don't want, I have to be part of something, and I want to, give back to Precision, and
absolutely.
yeah. So you made sure that you held your end of the bargain.
True.
That is, reach us to 10,000 followers on Twitter, because at the time you are mainly on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't like even have the other
I didn't have the social
social media platforms. Yeah,
true.
and from then on, like, we just hit it up and we became friends, and then the rest is history. I
rest
mean,
is
everyone
history.
knows.
All right. Now that you have worked on the vehicle, you've asked me a question, what's the next step? Now, the next step is trying to push the car outside there and see what it can handle. I want to believe, by your own opinion, you've made a solid 4x4.
Exactly.
Now it's time to attest to what you say.
Exactly.
So we are going to take this car outside there. We are going to ensure that we are testing its limits. And because I believe the work you've done is good, now let's wait for the actual findings on the ground.
Will you carry stones stones in the car?
No, Imran. I've said it's a proper 4x4 and it's going to do nothing but off-roading and overlanding.
Yeah, so not carrying stones, you see. So Joan has attested that she'll not be carrying stones, and it will not be a hearse anymore.
No. It won't be a hearse anymore, Imran.
Yeah.
You can be rest assured about that. Yes.
So guys, stay tuned to this journey, And we are going to have, first and foremost, I really want to thank our guest, Joan, for Real KE, for coming on this podcast and explaining, your story behind the Jalopy. It was really interesting. It really got me intrigued. Like, it was as if I was living it at that particular time. You're a very
Right.
good storyteller. That I'll give you for free.
Ah, I'm humbled
Yeah.
to hear that.
So stay tuned, guys. We are going to have a second, third, fourth, fifth episode as we progress along and give you the much more deep dive on the Jalop, even after Joanne comes from, pushing the car to the extreme. And we'll see what she has done to the car and what the car has done, right? So
True, true.
keep it decharged, guys.